Ed here, and super excited to do another Voices of Innovation, the Authors series. And I have two awesome people with me today. I have Roberta Schwartz from Houston Methodist and Bruce Brandis. And so I'll ask each of you to introduce yourselves in a second. But we're here to talk about Voices of Innovation. And I am going to go into a selling thing because we're really proud of it. This book is a compilation of examples throughout the world and in our industry of people and organizations doing great things with innovation to ultimately save people's lives. Yeah, we're improving experiences, we're improving revenue cycle, we're improving patient safety, and a lot of different things. But at the end of the day, I think our hearts are all about the care side of things. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. So it's a best practices. So if you buy this, you get this framework for innovation. It's a framework. It's helpful, and it's sort of organized around this framework. And we're going to dive deeper into one of the examples, this one from Houston Methodist. So it's great for that reason. But what really sort of is another huge motivator for all of us is that all the proceeds from the author go to cure cancer, help cure cancer. In this case, for this book, the benefactor is Mary Crowley Cancer Research. It's a research center located in Dallas, Texas. I serve on the board, and they're a phase 1 clinical trials company. This is where people go when there's no medicine that's worked for them, and it's sort of experimental stage. It's just awesome. You go there and you feel like you just feel thankful that an organization like that exists. So anyways, that's what it's all about. In the show notes, in the comments, we'll drop how you can order your own copy. So with that, let's jump right in. So Bruce, we're going to start with you. Bruce, introduce yourself and your company, and talk about, I know the chapter on the innovation is really about ambient intelligence. What does that mean? Kind of high level, what's happening in other industries, and then we'll switch to Roberta and maybe find out what, Roberta, you're all doing at Houston Methodist with that.
Sure. Thanks for having me, Ed. So I'm Bruce Brandis. I'm president of Care AI and have spent 33 years in healthcare information technology, going way back to long before we called it digital health or any of the hot topics that we have today. And I'm very excited to be part of this project because too often the technology we've brought to bear for our caregivers and our patients in healthcare has actually made their lives harder, not easier. And that clearly is not what this was designed to do, or technology is intended to do. And so recognizing that the need for transformative change within how we deliver care today, for lots of reasons that everyone likely knows, we look outside of healthcare to understand how ambient intelligence as a category has been really impactful in transforming our experiences in almost every other industry. And ambient intelligence is a network of advanced sensors and AI that allow us to ambiently look and listen and kind of reimagine how we do what we do. And in our case, to help traditional hospitals to become smart hospitals and traditional care teams to become smart care teams. And so what does that look like? In looking at other industries, you can look at the concept of an autonomous driving car, self-driving car, where ambiently looking and listening and using AI to be constantly aware of surroundings to keep people safe when they're driving. The concept of an uncrashable car is something that a company called Luminar is doing in partnership with Volvo and others. And the concept to apply that to the idea of a harmless hospital, what would that look like? And so Care AI is bringing that technology to healthcare, and we're fortunate to have Roberta and her team at Houston Methodist as one of our wonderful partners.
Yeah, so I'm Roberta Schwartz. I'm the Executive Vice President and Chief Innovation Officer at Houston Methodist Hospital, and I hold two roles. One is running our big academic medical center, and the second is running our innovation activities, which means that I try to transform from the inside. And for me, really looking at this, ambient intelligence is actually, it will be table stakes in another 5 years. For me, it's the knowing what's happening without having to do a human audit every time we want to look at a task. So when patients say, when's the physician coming? If you map up technology on a GPS way with kind of proximity to the rooms, you can kind of give the families an idea of when they're coming. Are we appropriately using sterile technique, or where do we have to retrain or give people a cue in terms of something that's happening? Well, you can do that if you know if computers trained on the perfect way to do something, and we can actually watch what's happening from a camera and marry those two things up, you can cue the nurse if they miss something. When it comes to voice technology, the ability to listen to what's happening in the environment and now have that go into a computer in an appropriately formatted note without having to sit here and type into all the discrete fields, marrying up kind of the listening with artificial intelligence to get that in the right place. It's super exciting to think about all the places ambient intelligence can take us. And we are now using this in many of our rooms to begin to unlock this potential, both on the acute care floor and in the operating rooms. So we're looking at what's happening today in our hourly rounding, in our hand hygiene, in the beginnings of using voice in the inpatient room to capture activities and be able to look at things like housekeeping events or other things to make sure that we've touched every surface, or where we may need to go back and remind someone that they missed something. So there are countless ways I think we have on our roadmap, which you can read about in the larger essay, but really looking at that full breadth of what you could do, and just understanding that we're just scratching the surface of what might be possible in that, as Bruce defined it, that harmless hospital.
That is so cool, inspirational. It makes me, I'm in Dallas, so it makes me want to drive down to Houston for a 3-4 hour drive just to see all that's going on. Houston Methodist, a great organization, so well known throughout the world in terms of innovation. Roberta, it's amazing what you're doing. Really appreciate your contributions to the book. That's a great teaser for people. If you want to find out more about what's going on there and how they're leveraging this ambient intelligence, this book has it all. As we wrap up, Bruce or Roberta, any final comments?
My only observation is we know that the status quo is no longer acceptable in how we deliver care, and we can't just tinker around the edges with incremental improvements here or there. We really need to take a step back and more broadly reimagine what's possible, and not just start as if we're doing this for the first time. This has already been proven over and over again in virtually every other industry. It's just new to healthcare. It's not new technology. And so the opportunity to apply that to an industry that matters most is really exciting.
Yeah. Super cool. Thank you again. And for everyone watching, go buy the book. You'll learn so much, as you can tell already, and it's also doing good for healthcare. So thank you so much for being my guests.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ed.